right.
Yeah. All right.
So,
Party starting.
welcome to episode 5 of Tales from the Head. I'm going to let Danny introduce things here, but I think before we get to that, we're also going to just kind of catch up with each other. And this is the part where really it's mostly a conversation piece for me and Danny, and you guys can just listen like creepers.
Yeah. You guys can definitely hit that fast forward thing like for 15, 20 seconds. And
Don't you dare. You listen to every second of this. We work so hard.
Yeah. But what's up, Ryan? How's your weekend, bro?
Oh, yeah, I know I started it kind of shitty. I'm like,
Yeah, that's cool.
It was good. It was busy. I kept a secret from Steph that her sister was coming into town, so there was a lot of stress leading up to this weekend. And then
Really?
I work, then they were hanging out, and I was back at work, so I didn't really get to hang out with them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a good time. I had a good time, but Monday was just a weird day. Like, I know we were kind of talking about it a little bit before, but it's just the work day was fine. All my coworkers were having a bad day. I had a great day at work. It was fine. And then I get off at 7 because that's my new end time. So it's like cool. I can get home. I can put the kid to bed. I'll 10 o'clock. I'm done with everything. I can do my routine. I can hang out with Steph. All that stuff. So I'm like, oh, perfect. Usually it takes me about 40 minutes, 45 minutes to get home. Dude, I made it all the way to Livermore, which is like halfway to my house, which is in 20 minutes, which is like pretty damn good time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, obviously I was speeding. So I was
But
like,
no one needs
fuck yeah.
to know the details about that.
I was fucking speeding like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I was breaking so many laws. And no, but but then I get to Livermore and I'm like, damn, I make a good time, and then I see the stupid freeway sign, the big signs, and it says accident at 205 and 580, and I'm all, fuck, dude, that's like 99% home.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm fucked. And then with the Altamont, you can't leave. Once you get past a certain exit, you're stuck for like 20 miles or like 10 miles.
Yeah, and it's down to like pretty much you reach like the highest point where there's like a first exit or something.
Barely, and that's just and that's not even a turnaround. That's just like a pull off place for trucks and shit. So I mean, you're really fucked. So then I was like, okay, I'm screwed. I called Steph. I'm like, I'm gonna be home like an hour. It says I'm gonna be home in an hour from now, and I thought that was ridiculous because it was already 7:20, and I was like 8:20. It should take me an hour 20 minutes to get home. You know what time I got home?
Or like 10.
No, not that late.
No.
9:45. I left.
That's not so bad.
What do you mean? I left
left
Oakland at 7.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
Hours,
it's almost
dude.
3 hours to go 40 miles.
Yeah,
but it took me, like I said, 20 minutes to go 21 miles, and then it took me another 2 hours and 20 some odd minutes to go 20 more miles.
Hill. Yeah,
but I cut off and went to the back roads because, dude, the freeway was telling me it was going to take me another 3 hours.
Oh, fuck.
So I got off, and I kind of knew there was a path, but because of the fires, the road that goes to my street, because there's I could take the back roads all the way to my house. I know how to get there. I feel like everyone should know how to take back roads to get anywhere.
Yeah.
But they shut it down because of the fires.
Right.
So I couldn't even get on that. I was like, fuck. So I had to take another one that's still, once I get all the way into Tracy, I got to go another 10 miles to get to my house. So that's just to get through there. So I was driving on this 2-lane highway, and the problem is usually you fucking fly and just, it feels like a video game. You're going through these cool little turns and shit.
Yeah.
Like Gran Turismo. And then nope. Everyone and their mom got redirected by Waze and Google to do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I should have followed Waze because Waze was like, go here. You're going to get a shortcut because everyone's going straight. But I was like, in my head, I was like, I just want to get on the straight and narrow and follow it all the way. But I should have, because shortcuts rarely fucking work. So then I realized, damn it. But I looked why. And it was fucked because there's all these little crossroads leading up to it that I have to go through. And because everyone's leaving the freeway and going this way, I'm going north. Everyone's going east and west because they're trying to go the same way. So you got everyone going north, east, and west at the same time. It was just insane. I was going 4 miles an hour probably for 2 hours.
Dude, I think the worst traffic I ever got, I left San Jose once. I was gonna go up to Sacramento to for this festival, this weekend festival. It's called the Aftershock festival or something.
Yeah, I
It was
know of
cool, dude. It
Aftershock.
was like
It's hella
it
expensive,
was.
but it always has hella good bands.
Oh, dude, I think yeah, I can't. I forgot how much was like my 2-day pass,
By
but
like
dude, it
$300.
was yeah, like 200. But you know what?
It's
It was
probably worth
awesome
it.
though, dude. I got seeing Deftones, System of a Down, Guar was there.
Dude, Guar is so good.
Yeah,
You saw him at Sounds of the
Incubus.
Underground hella years ago with us, right?
Yeah, I was there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like
Dang, Incubus.
Incubus, 311, it's just freaking all these badass bands that you grew up. Well, I grew up listening to, and I'm like, oh, cool, they're gonna be there. Cool, why not?
Yeah.
Like Incubus, cool. Now I really want to go see Incubus again because they're
Did they
awesome. But
play I'm sure they played it. Did they play fucking why is it
which one?
Pardon Me?
Oh, dude, of course.
It's like one of their
Dude.
biggest hits, huh?
Dude,
I'm
that
like such a
song's-
poser Incubus fan. Oh, did they play that one song of Morning View? It's a weird like fuck, what is it called? It goes boom down 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 down.
No.
You know
Well,
what I'm talking
maybe.
about?
I
And
just
then
remember they played from the same album that Pardon Me is in it.
oh, I think that's Interstellar or something, right?
The me in. Oh no, that's a different one. How do you do it? Make you feel like I do? Or no? Okay,
No.
that's another one. But they
I
play that
told
one.
I hella know the Morning View record, and then I know like all the like radio songs like Drive.
Yeah.
Well, because Drive is a super nostalgic song for me.
Well, from the Morning View record, I really like their last track. I think it's called like Umbrella or like Under My Umbrella, not to be confused with the Rihanna song.
Ella,
But it has like a
Ella.
weird like
I
it's
can't
like
play the
super
song,
weird
but I can.
electronics.
I can't play the song, but I can look up the song title
Okay, that you know what that might
because I
work.
don't want these fucking D bags shutting me down. Episode
you know
4,
how-
they flagged the little ditty we were playing here.
Hey,
They got their
people need
lawyers
their
on
money.
deck.
I'm actually looking also at the I'm looking at my
You're probably gonna find it before me. Let's see. It's called. Oh yeah, it is. We're talking about the same song. Aqueous Transmission.
is it like
It's
the
the
very
last track
song?
on Morning View.
The very last song?
Yeah, and it starts with like that weird mandolin.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me play really low so I can. Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's like one of my favorite jams by
Yeah,
them.
they didn't play it though.
Well, it's a super B-side. See, but that's the only B-side I really know by them.
But here's the thing though, like what I realized with those with that concert is that their set was like super short though. Like their set
It
were
was
like
like 40 minutes. Oh, they
Yeah,
were like a
40 minutes,
supporting
so
act. That stinks.
They're like, all right, we gotta slam all the hits,
You know
But
what's-
at
yeah.
the drive-in was there, and at the drive-in freaking killed it.
Did they play like 40 some odd minutes? I think everyone plays like that much, huh?
Yeah,
except
it was
for
like
the
40
headliners.
some odd minutes, and I think like System played for like an hour 15,
That
and
makes
then
sense.
Deftones played for like an hour and 15 also.
So yeah, it's like
but-
your basic festival. It's like mayhem shit. Like most of the
Yeah.
side people were 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's just in a bigger scale, and then
Yeah.
Deftones was awesome. But I remember leaving San Jose on a Friday, and I left at 1 in the afternoon.
Uh-huh.
I was finishing up some work. I turned in my grades at 12. I finished whatever like things I had to do for work, like, and then I bounced. I didn't even tell my principal or anything. I was just freaking. I'm like, no one's gonna miss me. I bounced,
Yeah.
and I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna get there before 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. I'm gonna beat the traffic. Boy, was I wrong. I didn't get to Sacramento. And Sacramento normally is like a 2-hour drive from San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get there until like 7 in the afternoon.
No shit, really?
So it was like
I thought it was
like
gonna take you
5
like 3 or 4 hours. I didn't know it was gonna take you that
Nah,
long.
dude, just to like.
Which way did you go?
Of course, because I took the freaking stupid way. I took the 680.
Oh, the vac through Benicia?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I took it all away, and then got on the 80, and then
Oh, dude. I mean, I know, and nothing's worse than advice after you already know what the. I
yeah.
always go, because even though the Altamont's a piece of shit, the hour you would have
5.
went, you would have been okay. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you don't have
Fuck,
to pay
yeah.
a toll there.
Yeah, well, I'm like, my mentality was like, all right, I'm gonna leave at 1. I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get there earlier. I'm gonna beat the traffic.
I mean, you shouldn't. But here's the thing, though. That's why you hit traffic, because by the time you got to like fucking Benicia or Vacaville, it was probably already 3, and that's too late.
Yeah.
Because I was
Dude.
gonna say Fridays, I don't know, dude. I don't fuck with Fridays. If you got somewhere to be
Fridays,
on a Friday, you got to leave it by
yeah,
11
dude. Fridays, it's
because
either you
people leave
go in
early.
super early or you're going after
Yeah,
6 or
no, because
7.
people leave early.
Yeah,
Rush
actually,
hour
dude.
is not 3 o'clock. It's
No,
probably
actually,
about 12 or 1.
my friend's wedding. I was part of the wedding of the wedding party. I was officiating their wedding and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The rehearsal wedding was at I want to say 4 o'clock. Um, I'm like, all right, cool, same thing. This is over like a little bit past Stockton. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll leave at 12. Well, I went, I picked up, I did whatever I had to do, and then of course, since my buddy knows I'm always running late, he calls me and he goes, "Hey, dude, the the groom and the bride, they're calling me. He's like, hey, dude, we just got something in our mail. It's a big box from Target, and we need it for the wedding. Can you please go to our apartment and pick it up?" I'm like, all right, cool. I went and picked it up. That was like a 15-minute thing,
Mm-hmm.
and on my way back now, going back to Stockton, they call me again. They're like, "Hey, bro, are you still in San Jose? Cause I forgot my wallet,
Oh my
so I
God.
need it because we need it for like credit cards and money." And I'm like, "Fuck!" So there I go back into. Anyways, we didn't hit the road until like 1, and this is we're going to Orange Grove, or not Orange Grove. We're going to Walnut Grove, a little bit past
At North?
Stockton.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
a little bit north from Stockton. We didn't get there until like 5. So I missed the rehearsal dinner and all the rehearsal whatever,
But
but
I
we
mean, you
still
had
made
to
it to
do
the dinner.
errands for them, though.
Yeah, so that's
So, I
what
mean, they
kind of
probably weren't
like.
mad at you
Yeah,
because
no,
if
they were pretty stoked
you could have
about
been
it.
on time and they could have had no money.
It's funny because like the next day, the wedding planner was trying to like crack jokes at me, like, "Oh, well, if you were here yesterday, you wouldn't know where to stand." And I'm like, "Yeah,
Ugh.
sorry, I was busy doing errands for the bride." And she's just like, "Oh, well, that's more important." I'm like,
Yeah,
"Yeah, yeah, that's right,
I was
that's
doing
right."
things, probably that you could have helped with. Because, wait, wedding planner? You? No, 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 that's not your job.
Oh,
I'm sure you already got
sorry.
paid too.
Yeah, I'm like, sorry, I don't know where I'm gonna be standing and how I'm gonna be walking. But luckily, my the person who was like walking down the aisle with me, she's like, I know her for a while, so she was like, all right, Danny, this is what we're gonna do. So she kind of guided me to it. But
It's cool. She knew that was it a okay, like I know you're not going to name names, but can you even talk like vaguely about the wedding planner, or is that like a friend of the person that was
I have
part
no
of it?
idea who his wedding
Oh,
planner was.
perfect. So we could talk as much shit as we want then.
Yeah, they paid. I have no idea who she is. I don't know how she looked like. All I know is they paid.
Danny, you're playing the safe card right now. You know exactly what she looked like because she
No,
wronged
no, no.
you.
I honestly do not remember anything. I know she did a fabulous job.
Don't do that.
Um,
You're
but
doing
I
the
do not
political
remember her name.
thing.
No,
She's a
I'm being
really good
honest.
person. I was a little on edge.
No, I was just like, because in the back of my head, I'm like, lady, if you only knew, if you only knew. And I think I was very irritated
All
that
right.
day, even though it's not even
Yeah.
my wedding.
See,
But
I
I was
knew
just
it.
like,
You're already blaming yourself. No, look.
go.
So, did you hear that?
Yeah.
So apparently my notifications on my computer can be heard through Zoom.
Hey,
I don't know. I never
2020.
knew that.
The government hears everything, bro.
Thanks, Google. And
Anyways, the
yeah.
moral of that story was, uh, don't leave, don't ever underestimate Bay Area traffic.
And do not converse with wedding planners unless
No.
absolutely necessary.
Yes, unless if like yeah, unless you have to. But I mean, when we were talking earlier about like what this episode should be about, we started talking about this thing called because because like I shared, I also officiate weddings. Um, I'm not sure if I shared this already, but I'm also a teacher. I'm also a teacher, and apparently I'm a podcaster. I have this podcast, and I have two, and I have the soccer podcast. So
He's a busy
I
man.
guess I kind of like have to step back sometimes, and I'm just like, are you real? Like, is this really who you are right now? Like, is this really who you are? Like, who are you right now? Like,
Yeah.
and and this is kind of like a thing I've been dealing with all my life. I think, well, not all my life, but like maybe my professional career. I guess it's the
I
proper
mean,
way to
that's
say it.
almost half your life so far.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's this term I actually just learned a couple weeks ago called imposter syndrome.
Imposter.
Um, which is basically when you think that you're under like you don't qualify for like a job, or you feel that you got like a certain position because of luck or because of something, and you're
Mhm.
going to be exposed for like the fraud, or like they're going to expose you and they're going to be like, oh, that dude's a phony, look at that guy, that guy's a phony or something. And it
Yeah.
happens like I have already married about 10, 11 people.
Jesus.
Yeah, and out of those 11 weddings I've officiated, 3 have gone divorced already. So yeah,
Well, I mean,
I'm
3
a
out of
legit
10, that's
one.
not a bad fail rate.
No, but technically I'm a legit one
I mean,
then,
you're
because they,
got a
they have to go
70%.
through the divorce. Yeah. They still need to go through the process. So, but every now and then, like I go up there or I'm signing like the wedding papers and I'm like, man, I feel like this isn't like legit. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I feel like I'm not legit for doing it. And
Well, I know
then
what
like
you mean, because I mean, I'm not shitting on you, but I'm about
yeah,
to
no,
say
absolutely.
something. If you can
No,
go
no, go ahead.
online and get accreditation for $10, it's probably
Yeah.
$30 or something,
Yeah.
and just do like a little questionnaire. But here's
Yeah,
the
that's
thing: there's a
exactly
lot
what
of
I did.
shit like that. So don't shit on
No,
yourself, because
and
guard cards for security guards, they don't know who you are. You pay like $40, and then they give you a guard card, and then you can be a security guard anywhere. But I mean, it's like being
yeah.
ordained. Like, it's like if anyone who wants to shit on being ordained, I think it's cool because
Mhm.
I mean, I don't really understand how the money makes it you qualify
Yeah.
qualified, but
Well, what
I get
when
someone's got
I
to
got
make money
ordained,
somewhere. That's the thing. There's always money to be
well, when
made.
I got ordained, they didn't charge me anything. It was like, hey, if you want to donate to this church, I think it's called like the Universal Life Church or something.
Well, so then you did
Um,
pay. They just did it
yeah, if I
sneaky.
wanted to donate, and I didn't
Oh, so
actually,
they made
but
it
I did.
optional.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
But I
okay.
did buy an actual certificate that said that I got ordained on so and so date,
That's cool.
through this church, and it's actually hanging in my buddy's wall, in Hollister, because they were the first people I married, and I was only going to marry them and that's it, but then I started marrying more people, so they kept the souvenir. So it's funny because it's like master degree, doctorate degree, Daniel Betancourt officiate,
Yeah.
officiant.
Well,
So
it's like their souvenir, I
um
guess, huh?
yeah, that's just to make it seem, again, to enforce that it's actually legit. So but yeah, this is something I didn't know there was an actual term for it, like the imposter syndrome thing. I just thought I was always like not good enough for something. And
Right.
especially like when I start, I always used to think that I'm like, dude, someone, oh hell, like I was literally just having this conversation with my coworker last week. I was telling them now that we're going through like this online teaching and distance learning, and there's terms being thrown out there that I didn't know even existed, like synchronym and asynchronym teaching and all this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I was telling my buddy, I'm like, dude, like I feel hella dumb because like I want to ask like, what the hell are you talking about? But at the same time, I don't want everybody to be like, who's this guy? Like, oh, you don't know what this is?
Wait, so
Like, oh, you don't know what we're talking
are you
about?
talking about like when the teachers all meet up and talk about their lesson plans together?
Yeah, yeah. Like when we were having our professional our meetings leading up to the first day of school.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And and everybody was having like a conversation and everybody seemed like on track. And I just remember thinking like texting my friend who works with me, and I'm like, dude, do you know what the fuck you're talking about? And they're like, we have no idea what the heck you're talking about. I'm like, all right, good. And every time we'll have meetings, it'll be the same thing. I'll be like, oh, describe how you're feeling in 2 words. And I'm like, very lost. Or like
So
hella dumb.
fucked.
Like, yeah, so fucked. And yeah, man. And now I'm confident enough where like I don't have to prove myself that I'm a teacher. Like I've been teaching for 7 years.
That's a
I
long time.
obviously have a bachelor's. I have a teaching credential. I've gone and done like seminars for like be a better teacher. I've worked with different teachers and stuff. So like I know I'm legit, but at the same time, like sometimes you just doubt yourself. And I've gotten to the point before it used to really affect me. I felt like I had to like overperform to kind of like solidify myself
Yeah.
as a professional. But now I'm like, dude, just look at my track record. I don't care. Um, but yeah, this imposter syndrome. I remember like, and apparently when I looked it up because they brought in that term, and I'm like, what the hell is that? So I looked it
Yeah.
up, and I'm like, wow, they're talking about me.
Yeah.
Like honestly, it for me it did lead to anxiety. Like I'll be creating lessons. I'm like, dude, this is too easy. Like this is so easy. Like no, this can't be right because it's so easy.
Right.
So I'm like, no, this is my principal's gonna come and observe
What's
me.
the
He's
age
gonna
group
see
that you teach though?
soft freshmen and sophomores, so 14 and 15-year olds.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that I was reading about this is people who are like perfectionists, they're kind of like this also, where like if just something is completely off or something doesn't go as planned, they're like, oh dude, this is all screwed up. I'm a fake, I'm a
Yeah.
fraud, I'm gonna be exposed. And I think for longest time, like that fueled my anxiety. That fueled like my nervousness. Like, man, my principal is gonna come and observe me. He's gonna see that I'm full of shit while teaching, and I'm gonna get fired. Like anytime I'll have a meeting, is always like, oh, dude, I'm gonna get fired. Oh, dude,
Hmm.
this is where I get fired.
Yeah.
Hell, I got an email 2 days ago, where my coach was like, hey, dude, you want to meet up for like 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Or they're like, hey, Tom, I shouldn't say names, but hey, the principal and I wanna have a quick meeting with you for like 15, 20 minutes. And of course I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna get fired.
Yeah.
Like this is it, I'm fired. Um
You like just won the
but
Nobel Prize. You're like, I'm fucking fired.
they're over here like, oh yeah, dude, you're doing an X, or they're basically telling me like, hey Danny, I think the conversation was like, hey Danny, oh, so we're thinking for this school year, do this instead of this. It was like something super. They
Ugh.
basically made my job a little bit more
They're
easier.
like, put the rope down.
Yeah, like calm down, dude. We're not.
You don't need
But
that
every
yet.
time, yeah, not yet, sir. Just hold it for later. But it was always like feeling into my anxiety and my stress, and if you're really feeling that way, like if you're feeling anxious or you feel like you're not good enough at your job, and then like we said in this podcast many times, like your mind is like will play the worst tricks on you, and you're always going to be your worst critic when it comes to certain things. So of course, like this kind of stuff will happen. It'll kind of just fuel my like it'll solidify why I don't deserve to be in this certain job or something. So
Right.
and that of course, like you kind of grow out of it, or you kind of give yourself confidence, or after like especially like when you start a new career, a new job. Of course, you feel lost the first couple of weeks. You're new at your freaking job. No one's
Right.
expecting you to be an expert, but when your mind already is set to that tone, it kind of fuels it. And so like it does go away after a couple of weeks or months, but in some cases it kind of just adds up. And for me, it was adding into my anxiety and my stress. And I think that's when it helps to have like friends that you can just, or coworkers or coaches, mentors that you can just talk to, and they're like, dude, calm down, you're tripping. Which
Right.
luckily I had that. Luckily I have that support at school where they were like, dude, you're just tripping, you're doing good. And it was, I think my principal told me once, like, dude, if you were messing up, we would have fired you a long time ago. And
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool, thanks, bro. But have you ever felt like that kind of mentality, the imposter syndrome or something?
Oh man. You know what's funny is I wasn't privy to the term, which
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure a lot of people are.
Yeah, I wasn't, to be honest.
I wasn't either. I'm aware of what it is because, like you
Yeah,
said, when you were reading it, you're like, "Is this some asshole hot behind me writing all this
you're
shit
like,
down?"
oh my god, am I in the Truman Show right now? What the fuck?
So I actually found an article, and I'm not going to read it because that's
Mm-hmm.
boring. But there was some key points that really struck me, and that's what made me reflect on how I am.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just going to go off kind of what you said. I mean,
Yeah.
basically what you were going with was parts of, that registered with me were like key parts where you never feel like you're where you belong because of what you've done, right? You
Yeah.
feel like maybe you feel like either it's luck or it's or you're riding coattails or some shit
Mm-hmm.
like that, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that all the time. I mean, that's one of my biggest insecurities right now is just worrying about being like if I had to be a sole provider for my family. Like I know I can't. I know right now I can do it
Mm-hmm.
because we moved, and I can afford to pay for almost everything myself if I had to, 100%. But in San Lorenzo and Hayward, when I lived in the Bay, like I was fucked, man. Like it
Yeah.
was way too expensive, and then like paying daycare for two kids and all this shit, and it makes me hella insecure. And like ever since I've gone, because when I was younger, me and Steph lived together for a long time, like over 10
Right.
years, and when we first got together, I kind of made more money.
Mm-hmm.
But since about 2010 to now, she's made like way more money than me. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
even that, like, I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, is it because she's a woman? And I'm like, no, it's because she's my spouse. And even if I was gay, I would still probably feel this way because it's how
Mm-hmm.
I am, not how she is. It's my fucking, you know what I mean? It's our thing,
Yeah.
not their
It's
thing.
your insecurities. Yeah.
So, but what bothers me is it's not that I want to be better than her. It's that I want to take away like stress from her, and I want
Yeah.
to provide, like feeling like you provide, like I don't know if there's many more rewarding things than that, knowing that you've got all your shit together and you can just do it. That's a
Mm-hmm.
great feeling.
Yeah.
And you know, I got I dwell, like we said, I dwell on things, which kind of plays into this because I think I need, like, there's some steps. There's like 10 steps, and I'll go over that in a second. But the thing I liked was that I liked that because it really struck a chord with me because of how insecure I am just about my career. And like if I could do this, this would be my career. Like to just talk to you, talk to
Yeah.
people,
That'll be the
broadcast
ultimate
it.
dream, dude.
I would love to do that. But the problem
Yeah.
is we live in America. Well, that's not the problem. We live in the real world, and in the real world, we need to make our day to days work, and this doesn't pay like a 9 to 5. So
Yeah.
until that happens, YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
um, sponsors, future sponsors. No, yeah. Until that happens, we're double dipping, and that's the way it's got to be, and that's fine. But eventually, I think clearly me and you have something going on here with talking, and we like doing podcasts. So
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think I think we need to go with that and just really, really push all our eggs in that basket. And um, I know it's wrong to think that way, but the only thing that doesn't stop me from thinking that way completely is, even though I don't like having the voice that's like, you're not good enough, you shouldn't be here, part of me wants that voice there just because that voice is an important voice. You just need to know how to you need to know how to interpret that voice. Like,
Yeah.
that's part of survival. Like, part of your survival is gonna be like, oh, you're a fucking idiot. Don't do that. You're stupid. You're gonna fuck yourself up. See, like,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's good to be a little insecure because it's instinct, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, in situations like you're talking about, where it's not like you're gonna die, but it's socially you might die because your anxiety levels are, because you have people that are relying on you. They have expectations. I'm sure
Exactly.
those expectations never get vocalized, but you have
R-
fake expectations of their
Uh,
expectations in your head, and you're
nailing
constantly
it,
thinking
bro.
like, I'm sure, like, being a teacher, you're constantly like, what's their internal voice right now while I'm talking? Am I boring
Exactly.
them? Like, I don't
Oh,
know. Like,
100%.
it's got to be so nerve wracking to talk, but I'm sure you get used to it, and I'm sure once you have like a week and with your new students, you probably already develop a rapport, and things are
Mm-hmm.
nice. But God, man, the first day must be just brutal for everybody.
It really is nerve wracking. Like, again, seventh year teaching and first day of school, I was still like nervous. Like,
Yeah,
I was still nervous. I'm like, oh man, you can't sleep the night before. And it's good. I think it's a good thing because if I wasn't nervous, then that meant I just don't give a damn
you
about
just don't
this
give a
job
shit,
anymore.
right?
Yeah. But the fact that I'm still nervous, it means that I want to get off. I want to get off on a good foot because I want to deliver like the best. I want to be the best person I can be
Right.
for these students. But man, you're definitely nailing it right now. We were talking about like um God, you just said it, and
Just
I
the
was like,
internal voices. Like,
yeah, the internal voices, like, man, I'm not good enough. Man, I'm screwing this up right now. Like how they're looking at me. You're like, yeah, dude, that played a lot of times, and you're talking about earlier about being a provider, or not even being a provider, but like having. I even like saying having your life together because it's
pulling
really
your
hard.
weight, maybe.
Yeah, pulling your weight or just living in a position that you feel comfortable and
Oh,
secure
like
when
living
you're
within your means.
yeah, I think that's a good way to say it. Um because that's exactly what with my ex relationship why it failed.
Hmm.
Um she was so like stressing about her own career and like her like I need to not being where she wants to be career wise,
Right.
where I was already like I wasn't starting my career. I was kind of already going,
Yeah.
I was already pulling along, where she was restarting her career once again. So it did bring an effect, and of course, like I'm not saying I'm rich, but I had enough for like I can help her out, for certain things. Like if she needed to make a payment for, for car insurance or something, I had enough to cover her,
Hmm.
and still live within our means. Um, but like you just said, man, if you grew up with that mentality, like, no, I need to pull my own weight, which kind of goes down to I need to pull my own self worth
Right.
also, like that really messes you up and it affects the ones around you. And like obviously it had a big toll on her. Um to a point where we couldn't even like, we just didn't work out. And this was the person I thought I was gonna marry and to spend the rest of my life with.
Yeah. That's rough.
So and it's rough. And you can't really do anything about, you can't sure you can reassure him and you can say all this stuff, but if you can hear it, but if you don't believe it, that's I think that's where it's
Yeah.
very, very difficult.
Or their minds made up already, kind of thing.
Exactly. And all you're gonna do is rather than look at the good things, you're gonna look at things that solidify your mentality
Right.
better.
You're reinforcing the bad
Exactly.
shit.
So I mean, I can go up there and I can go and teach. I can, 10th year of teaching, I can go and teach, and my my principal can come in and tell me, "Oh, dude, you're doing an awesome job, or you did good. This is where you shine, and this is places where you can grow." And I'm perfectly okay with taking criticism, but I know in back of my head, I'm always like, "Man, then I could have done better, or I'm
Yeah.
not doing my job, or I'm gonna get fired."
Right.
This is it. Because that's just the way it
Yeah.
is, and it fuels that. And I think because you said something like with our own, we know our own history. We know how what we went through in order to get there. Like,
Right.
like I didn't even believe I graduated college. you know,
Yeah.
like, like I finished my college classes, and I'm like, no, no, this can't be right. I went to my graduation to send my name, and I'm like, no, this can't be right.
Yeah.
I even saw my transcripts. I saw the grades, and at
You're
the
like,
very end,
who forged this?
it said like bachelor's degree awarded on so and so date, and I'm like, no, no, I didn't believe it until I actually got my my diploma from San Jose State
Dude, that's
with my
so
name,
cool though. To
and
have
I
like
think
a
that's when it solidified. I'm like, okay, then yes, maybe I did graduate it, and I still think I got lucky that I had friends and cohorts who really pushed me to not slack off and really. And sometimes you need that push,
yeah.
to get it together. But uh yeah, I mean, some people say like, oh, I know when I was going through my mental issues. What is that noise? Oh, my dogs. Um
Help me.
yeah. Sometimes like I know when I'm going through through my issues, thinking I'm not good enough for certain people, or I don't deserve certain things because for for whatever reasons, they always tell me like, "Oh, dude, like, what are you talking about, Danny? Like, you have a good job, you have a good career, blah blah blah. You're this, you have a diploma," and at the same time, like, that doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
Just like I'm pretty sure when you feel down, when I can tell you like, "Oh, dude, Coop, you're doing so good. you have a roof over your head, over your family. You know, you're providing for your wife and 2 kids, and I can tell you that. But if you don't believe it,
Right.
it doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, and deep thinking, and it helps to understand yourself when you listen to someone else talk, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Because listening to you helps me understand like how it looks from the outside, right?
yeah, yeah,
So,
absolutely.
because I don't know what that looks like. I mean, for the most part, I'm always
Mhm.
just in my own shit. So,
Yeah,
like, it's just like I feel like it is a downward spiral because we're never going to be satisfied. Nothing's ever going to prove we're good enough. The problem isn't what we're doing. The problem is how we're looking at what we're doing, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah,
we are doing
absolutely.
things and we have enough pride to get things done. Now what we need to do is, you know, celebrate. It doesn't mean call everyone you know and have a party.
Mhm.
We need to celebrate our wins. We need to take
Yes.
our losses, but learn from them and not dwell and obsess and use it as fuel to hate people or hate yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's really easy to be angry. Anger is probably one of the most easy emotions out there because
Absolutely.
I think most of the time you're angry before you're even sad.
Yeah.
It's a very reactionary emotion. Like, so is sadness, but sadness can be deep. Sadness can be something like, obviously we know about it, but depression, it's like sadness. It could be just
Mm-hmm.
underlying. It could just be this little thing that's still there, but you don't even really see it. But every once in a while it dips up. So,
Yeah.
but with anger, it's very obvious. It's not like you're just
Yeah.
always a little angry. You're always, it's going to be like outbursts. It's going to be like a
Yeah.
mood.
You can't be a little angry here and then.
I'm
No,
a
it's
little bit
like
angry.
when yeah, no, when you're pissed, and I'm not sure. Well, actually, I know you well enough where you're not very good in hiding your emotions.
No, not at
So
all.
yeah, and me too. Like, so when I'm pissed, people know I'm pissed, or like, and
Yeah.
then of course they ask you like, "Oh, what's wrong? What's wrong?"
Yeah.
And you go with nothing because it's easier to hide them than explain why you're angry or why you're sad or something.
Yeah.
So,
But
and then
see,
of course they ask you like 20 times, and then you get pissed off because you weren't angry before, but now I am angry because you pissed me off.
yeah, that's how I'm like, and this is me roasting myself, not in a
Yeah.
sad way, but it's just kind of like, something else I noticed about myself as I fix my mic obnoxiously. Something else I noticed is I forget things while I'm talking. That's what I'm doing right now. No,
Yeah,
what
it
I'm
happens.
no, but what I'm saying is, I noticed, like I lose, I let myself lose so fast. Like, an example, that is obvious for me as soon as you're talking about like, like when something doesn't go your way, and immediately you're just like, oh fuck, I'm done.
Yeah.
This whole thing's fucked. That is 110% me. Like, while
Hmm.
Steph or anyone is watching this and knows who I am, they're probably like laughing or like smiling because they know this is how I am. This is one of my biggest faults is giving up on myself so quickly. Like,
Yeah.
when I put the ceiling fan up, and Steph wanted me to put a ceiling fan up downstairs, and I was like, I could do that. I'm like, I've wired fucking security cameras outside,
Yeah.
and like, like lights. It's just basic electrical shit. Like, it's easy.
Yeah.
So I
You
turned the
put the red
power
with the
off.
red and the black with the black.
Yeah, you just match shit up, right?
Yeah.
And
Don't
then
touch the bare wires.
yeah, or just shut the power off. But but yeah, don't touch it anyway. But
Yeah.
yeah, you turn the breaker off. You you get going. It took me 4.5 hours to put a fan up,
Oh, you must have been pissed.
dude. So I wasted an hour. Like, it took me a good 2.5 hours.
Hmm.
Realistically, like if I time myself, it was probably 2.5 hours. But it was good. But
Hmm.
because my troubleshooting is kind of like forgetful at times, like, okay, so I hook it all up, right? And it came with a remote. I didn't need to wire the remote because there's already a switch on my wall that can control shit. But I was just like, I'm just following directions, which is rare because I don't normally do that. So I was like, all right,
Yeah.
cool. I'm going to wire the remote, put it up. I did it all right. I get it all situated. And then I'm like, I hit the switch, and I'm like, nothing. And I was like,
Hmm.
fuck. So I kept having to go outside, turn the breaker off, turn the breaker on to test it, right? Oh, I got to adjust something. Now I got to turn the power off and do it.
Yeah.
So it's getting to the point where I almost just want to electrocute myself. And then I realized, I'm like, I can't believe this doesn't fucking work. So I'm cussing up a storm. I'm saying the C word. I'm saying all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Steph's just like shaking her head. Like, she's not upset with me, but she just knows I'm upset. So it's like, good luck walking me off that ledge. So
Yeah.
she is just being very patient. And I'm never mad at anybody. I'm always mad at myself, right, or the situation. So I'm just like, fuck, hella pissed, you know? And then if I would just cool down and just troubleshoot every little thing instead of doing the first couple things, it not going the way I planned, me completely freaking out, like everything's done. What now? I got to take it out and I got to return it. Blah blah blah. What am I gonna hire a fucking contractor to come here and laugh at me? So there's like all these little voices in my head.
Yeah.
You know, like, and then like I said, I wired the remote, the receiver for the remote. So dude, all I had to do was turn the fan on the remote, because if you don't, the remote controls it, and then the switch just controls the power.
Yeah.
So the functionality is still on the remote. The switch is just literally power on, power off.
Yeah, it's just basically delivering the power.
So if I wouldn't have wired the receiver, the switch would have done what I needed to do. But because I did it that way, and then when I hit the light button on the light and the fan button on the remote and it worked, dude, I was so happy. But then like part of me was like, man, that like hour I spent just cussing and sounding like Joe Pesci from Home Alone, I probably could have like just figured this out and been fine. But instead I was like, such a fucking motherfucker, such a piece of shit.
And you're like,
fucking
kicking
Kevin
that
McAllister.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Oh shit.
but I understood it. I kind of wanted to kidnap a child in New York and just
Yeah.
get a ransom. You know, I don't know.
And steal money from a toy store.
I really want to beat up, and when I say beat up, I mean Donnie Brooke, like a pigeon lady. You know?
Yeah. I don't
Just-
trust them.
I don't know. Nowadays, these movies we watched, you know, that lady's character. This is a side thing, but you know what? This is our lives. Sometimes we have little roads that just lead us that way. So right now we're going this way, and right now we're gonna talk a little Home Alone.
Yes.
So that lady was totally like a stranger that ended up being someone he could trust. But in a real life situation, dude, if you're in Central Park, you shouldn't trust anybody.
Nope. Especially in the early
someone
90s,
that's
New
like,
York.
but that's the thing. I guess in the movie she wasn't very welcoming. So then I guess that is trustworthy because she was like, I don't want to talk to your kid like a kid. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, so she's not a pedophile, or she's a real sneaky one.
No, if I recall,
No, but she
was
wasn't.
actually-
But
she wasn't, and she actually Kevin was afraid of her, stranger danger.
no, yeah, for
But
sure.
Kevin, but
then
he
she
got
helped
stuck like in a rock,
him.
so he
Yeah, and
helped
she
her.
pulled his.
His leg out from getting stuck or something.
I mean, he like screamed at her and ran away, and then he came back and was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." That's like Home Alone's. The first two are like
Classics.
some of my favorite movies,
Oh,
Christmas
hands
movies.
down. And they can never be made
It actually
ever again.
It actually made the list of the movies we were talking about last week,
Mm-hmm.
but I felt like it was overdone. Like not overdone, but who doesn't love Home Alone? So I kind of was trying to find
Yeah.
something a little different.
Yeah, and they can never be done now in the modern world. I mean, Kevin,
They're gonna redo it, and it's gonna be terrible. But
I mean, come on, bro. The only thing I have to say, there's no way the McAllisters are gonna wake half an hour before flight and make it to the gate on time. It's 9/11, bro. You need unless they have the pre-TSA, which still is gonna make you wait.
that was
couple
that
of
was 93, so that was pre-TSA.
Yeah, so there's no way.
Dude,
gonna
they're
make it
white.
in time.
They get white privilege. They probably went right through the airport. Come on, dude. You can't. Don't just pretend that doesn't exist because I'm
It doesn't
here.
exist anymore. On a side note, our boy Macaulay Culkin, actually, he tweeted earlier today that it is his birthday today.
So what's he gonna do?
He turned 40.
That's weird.
Yeah, and you know what his tweet was? It's like, hey guys, you want to feel old? I turned 40 today.
Yeah, that's a
I'm
good
like,
tweet.
Yeah, and I'm like, shit, I'm about to turn 36.
Turned
on Monday.
40 and he looks 55.
Yeah, well, it's funny because he looks 70, and
Yeah,
now
he
he's
looks
kinda
old.
toning it down.
He
Is
looks
he
like
like
he's
our-
done drugs for like 20 years. Like, I don't know if he has, and that's just a really harsh thing to say about someone that I don't know if it's true. But he just doesn't. He doesn't look healthy.
Well, I seen him like do like show like interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
And he looks pretty healthy. But there was a time like early.
Yeah, and maybe
like,
it's those shitty National Enquirer pictures that we would see resurfacing every once in a while of him just like randomly walking down a street, and you're like, damn, dude, is he on coming out of a methadone clinic?
Yeah.
Like, dude, he just he didn't look very good.
Yeah, but I mean, I like him. Good for him. Turning 40. Which is like shit. I'm turning 36. We're there. We're there, bro.
It's so weird, you know, like getting old. You know, it's one of those things too, man. It's gonna feed into this fucking imposter syndrome because then we're gonna be the old guy, and then we're gonna be like, no one wants to talk to the old guy. So
the old timer who thinks he knows it all and doesn't know shit.
Well, yeah, and that's why, you know, like me rambling a little, but the main point is like we need to fix this because it's not going to get any better. It's not going to get any easier unless we do something about it.
But you know what, Coop? The reason we don't want to be that old guy is because growing up, we knew old people or older people who would try to tell you about life and shit. And we were like, man, this guy's full of shit. Like, oh, really? This fool's all wise. Why is he working at, Circus City? Like, but those are our messed up mentality. And now we're older and we're like, man, this guy was right. And we don't want to come off as that. But
I've always kind of had this weird kinship with old people.
Mm-hmm.
But and to the point where I've always treat like a lot of old people like my own grandparents, and like whenever they tell me something, I want to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always polite, like typically, like even if it's bullshit, unless I really don't like the old person, or we're at a bar and I don't give a shit. But like, if like I meet someone and I'm like we're at like an event and they're nice, like I'll be respectful and I'll like want to like leave, but I'll let them finish because I know like when you're older, dude, like you repeat yourself a lot.
Yeah.
And you don't know whether it's because they forgot that they said it or whether they're just trying to remind themselves because it's almost like a practice makes perfect. I need to keep my mind healthy.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, I always try to have somewhat of a level of empathy with some stuff in my life. I may not seem like an empathetic person, but I always have empathy for old people because I know one day I'm going to be old.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be just like that. Like we always think there's stages in generations in our lives. And, the teens were your assholes. You're angsty, you're horny, you're assholes. You want to be an adult. Best, right?
Yeah.
20s, you're finally kind of learning who you are.
Mm-hmm.
30s, you are who you are. And that's when you're like, hey, I need to fix this shit. Kind of like what we're doing now.
And you kind of start everything you learn from your 20s, you're finally implementing them into your life.
Yeah, you're either learning from or you built on it into your 30s, right? So you're either like, I fucked up or, wow, I'm glad I did that. And then either way, like your 20s are like the war period. Like, I feel like we're still in the war, but we're like the vets now.
Yeah.
We're helping the youngsters in the war. Like when we were in our 20s, we were in the trenches, dude.
Yeah.
And we didn't care that we smelled like pig shit because we were happy.
Yeah.
But, dude, it's going to come a time where, especially with the way I am, because, dude, I already reminisce. I already love nostalgia. And, dude, that's what old people do like 100% of the time. So I'm basically already an old person. I just don't have liver spots. But
Yet.
And, to go with this, and since it's kind of the thing that we've been hinting at dangerously, but I found an article, and the website URL is kind of funny because it's so literal. It's impostersyndrome.com.
Oh.
But I actually Googled this, and it came up. And then when I found out it was the website, I was kind of laughing. But it's 10 steps you can use to overcome imposter syndrome. And it's written by, I want to give credit here, Valerie Young. Cool. She's an EDD, educated. I don't know what that means. I'm not gonna pretend I know what it means.
Yeah, but that's
basically. It seems like she's like I think she's a psychologist.
Okay.
Of some sort or some kind of. She must
research.
know her shit, right?
Yeah.
She's an expert on imposter syndrome. So there's 10 things, and if you read the article, it's really cool because she says like, there's more. There could be more than 10.
Mm-hmm.
But she
There's
even
always
mentioned
10 for some reason.
I
There's
think it's
always
just
10.
well, she even mentioned in the article. She said, I gave you 10 steps, right? And then
Mhm.
and the people would always be like, "Are there more? Are there more? Are there more?" And she'd always be like, "Did you try any of the 10 steps?" And they'd be like, "No, I just want to know if there's more." And she was confused. She's like, "Well, what does that mean? Like, why are they not just trying?" And then, like, once you can't do any of those, then ask. But like,
Yeah.
once again, that's part of your imposter syndrome. You're like,
Right.
I need more help because 10 isn't enough for my stupid ass. So,
Yeah,
I mean, why
exactly.
can't I
It
have
cannot
20?
be.
I
It
need
can't be so
25.
easy with 10 steps.
So she's like, all right. So I'm just going to make 10 steps and I'm going to write, here's my 10 steps. And then she kind of does like a short little thing. So number 1 is break the silence. And she elaborates on it saying, shame keeps a lot of people from fessing up about their fraudulent feelings. Knowing there's a name for these feelings and that you are not alone can be tremendously freeing.
Mhm.
And that's true. That's kind of what we're doing with the podcast. We're like, hey,
Yeah.
let's come out
Put it
here
out there.
and just vent it out and just confess to our nonsense. So, one, it'll like enforce us to be better. And, there's accountability. And 2, we're kind of like repenting almost. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's no forgiveness here, but it's forgiveness for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of, it's a kind of a little spiritual thing we're doing here. Number 2 is separate feelings from separate feelings from fact. There are times you'll feel stupid. It happens to everyone from time to time. Realize that just because you may feel stupid doesn't mean you are.
Yeah.
And see, that's a good one too,
Yeah.
because I always call myself stupid out loud, even when I'm at work. And my boss, I always kind of pick up on my boss being like, no, you're not. And sometimes I want to be like, no, dude, like you don't have to feel like I'm victim shaming myself. Like that's just how I am. Like I
Yeah.
appreciate you trying to stick up for me, but right now I just need to shit on myself.
No, but that makes sense. If you get in that mindset, like, oh man, it's just I suck at this. I suck at this. You're gonna, like we were talking about earlier, you're just gonna look for things to solidify, and to solidify your what you're thinking already.
Right.
So it's like a cycle thing.
It is, dude, and it's feelings from fact. Like the fact isn't that you're stupid, it's that you feel stupid. So instead
Yeah.
of making it an absolute, just let it fleet and go away like feelings do, which is
Yeah.
something I need to learn. It's like, okay, I'm feel angry. That doesn't mean I am angry, but that means I'm acting angry. So if I stop acting angry, I'm no longer angry. Problem is switching something like that up on a dime, it's kind of hard,
Yeah.
especially for me. And the worst thing you can do to
And
someone,
that's the hardest part, switching it. It's, no one expects you to switch it within one day to the other.
yeah. No, I know, but I mean that's always the hard thing with anger. Everyone's always like, "Relax, calm down," and you're just like, "All right, give me something to hit you
okay.
with."
Yeah.
Um,
I know that feeling.
oh yeah. There's always a bat. I always got a bat somewhere. You gotta have weapons handy because you never know what room you're gonna be in when you got to defend yourself.
And when someone's gonna say something's gonna piss you off, you need to have a scene. You need to be like Kirk Douglas and break down.
Oh, you mean Michael Douglas in Falling
Michael
Down?
Douglas, yes.
Yes.
Wow, I just screwed up.
That's okay, but I know who you were talking about. I know the movie.
Yes, of course.
And we can't play any clips because YouTube will be like, copyright. Fuck you. So anyway,
Yeah.
good movie. Let's do a little sidebar on it. That guy clearly had a hard time.
Yeah.
And throughout most of the film, you're like, this guy had a bad day. I'm on his side. Then when you get to the end with the kid, that's just when I was like, all right, shoot him.
You're like, all right, you know what? Obviously, it's more
This is
deep.
getting weird. Yeah, like
Yeah, just go.
he needs to go. He wants to
first you're
go.
like, because he had a bad day.
Yeah, Howie.
Yeah.
Was it who's that? Howie
I
Day?
have no idea. Maybe.
I'm such a
But-
fucking, I love naming that tune, but oh dude, they should have played that song in the trailer. In fact, what I could do is find the trailer on YouTube, download it, and
Mhm.
sync it with, maybe we could redo the dialogue so we could replace the music, because I don't know if it has music on it already.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't, I could just throw the music in there and blend it. But if it,
Yeah.
because that would be so funny to take Falling Down's trailer and just like sync it with, so you had a bad day, you live with a fire, and then like just showing like,
done it.
huh?
I wonder if somebody already done it.
Fuck them. We're cooler.
We'll do it better.
But maybe they did. But you know what? We'll at least try.
Yeah, that's true.
Number 3. Recognize when you should feel fraudulent. If you're one of the first or few women or a minority in your field or workplace, it's only natural you'd sometimes feel like you don't fit in. Instead of taking your self-doubt as a sign of your ineptness, recognize that it might be a normal response to being an outsider. That's interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah. And you know what? When I was reading about imposter syndrome, it's that at first it affected mostly females.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they came up with this term in the late 1970s, early 80s. So a lot of women were starting to work in the workplace and stuff like that. And I think that's also when like affirmative action was also enforced also. So
Yeah.
I can easily see like I am I'm a person of color.
Yeah.
If I'm the first like Mexican working in this law firm, and I know that I was only picked because of my skin and because of who I am, not because I qualify.
Right.
Of course you're gonna, and then of course you have all these coworkers like looking at you like this motherfucker, like this was just because he's Mexican, he got the job. He's a qualified, and and I can see how that really really adds into it. Luckily, here in the Bay Area, I believe we live in a very diverse where like I have X amount of like Latinx teachers, all these different, very diverse populations. So I can still see it happen. Maybe not that much, but it's very interesting that people of minorities minorities is the best way. We're the ones who felt this because, yeah, sometimes you feel like you got lucky because you're cute or because you look good.
So you think you're cute and look good?
Well, I did in the 20s. No, I accept.
In the 1920s?
In the 1920s.
Just kidding.
I accepted my true form now.
Which is?
Sexy.
Sexy.
No, that's interesting. That's very interesting, that third fact.
You know what's funny? I'm just going to mention my shit because why not? But, most people were like, oh, white people, they don't deal with hardships. And I'm not here to put my soapbox on. But you know what, dude? As a white guy growing up in the East Side, I definitely felt like an outsider when I was younger. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of, there's a big Hispanic community, and they don't really like white people. No, if they don't know you, they're going to assume you're like some Augustus Gloop fuck that just eats chocolate all day and just watches TV in his underwear and just waits, and his parents don't yell at him.
Yeah.
Or beat him with a chancla or a huarache. But I know a little bit of things about Spanish culture. But no, it's just, I used to get bullied a lot. And I was dorky. I had these giant glasses, but I had a smaller head. Oh, no, I didn't. I had a smaller body, same size head, big glasses. But I think everyone can relate to it, regardless of your race. Race, I feel like, definitely plays a part in when you're a minority or a person of color. But, nowadays, like, maybe it's just that we're older. And I think that's might be what our deal is now, is like we say nowadays. But maybe it doesn't mean like the times have changed. Maybe it just means we've changed, and our mindset's different. We're like, so, it's more like, it's not that people are less racist now. It's that they're, as you get older, hopefully, you understand people are different. You understand and accept things instead of always trying to change it or criticize it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's not always an age thing as much as a personality thing, too, because some people just aren't accepting.
Mm-hmm.
And what's weird is, people that are racist against minorities, they could easily also have imposter syndrome. So, I mean, this literally goes out to everybody. This could be your hate mongers. You got your Antifa people. I mean, George Soros might even have imposter syndrome. I don't know. Yeah. But like, that's the beauty of all this shit. We're all damaged. We're all broken. We're all human. So once we address that, some of the humility that we're fearful of kind of goes away, you know?
Yeah, once you I remember reading this book in college called Soldados Chicanos in Vietnam. And one of the soldiers there were saying that like these Vietnamese farmers will go up to these, well, they're basically farmers too from like Central California,
Uh-huh.
and they'll look at each other at the skin and they'll be like, "Hey, same thing, like same color tone." And he says after that, he kind of stepped back and is like, "What the fuck are we doing here?" Like, it's like I'm killing these farmers. They're basically the same people who I am back at home. I'm
Right.
killing my kind. And I mean, to put perspective with the imposter syndrome, like I think like I'm an American, oh, I'm a soldier. But once you kind of like break down that barrier and kind of start humanizing, is that term? Humanizing? Humanizing.
Humanizing. There you go.
Humanizing these people that you don't understand, or you feel you're better than them. It kind of puts things into perspective. But again, that it all comes up to here to your head. You have to make that
Right.
switch. You cannot just say it's, you have to accept that.
And
You have to accept
yeah,
that.
and there's no age really. Like, I mentioned like we have ages and this is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You could be 60, 70 years old listening to this right now and want to change. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's, I mean, yes, there's a ticking time bomb called our life. So
Yeah.
you are closer to death than, well, maybe not. Maybe I'll die tomorrow. But if we're going on an age thing, I probably have a better chance surviving than, So anyway, I'm not, I'm younger than you. Fuck you. No, I'm kidding. Not you, but I meant
According
like
to stats.
to an old person.
Yeah.
You old geezer listening right now, no.
Thank you, first off.
Thank you for soiling your earth and your pants.
With your wisdom.
So there's 10 of these things.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to go through all 10 because I was just kind of glimpsing at some of these and I'm like, it's obvious. I'm going to go with the ones that stand out at me. So we're jumping to number 6.
All right.
Write the rules. Write RIGHT, not WRIT. So write the rules. If you've been operating under misguided rules like, I should always know the answer, or never ask for help, start asserting your rights. Recognize that you have just as much right as the next person to be wrong. Have an off day or ask for assistance.
Man, that's scary, though. You know how scary that is, though? Like, if you grew up thinking, never make a mistake, figure it out yourself, and you need to take a little slice of humble pie and like, oh, I'm just capable of making mistakes. Like, that's very scary, bro.
But you know what, though? It's scary, but like you said about the first day of school, you get through it.
That's true.
And that's when you start looking at the shit we're scared of, dude. When you look at it as like a task, like just a task. Because the thing is I blow everything up in my mind.
Yeah.
I'm a nervous wreck. I have stage fright. I don't speak well in front of people. I've gotten better, with this and just with age, I've kind of gotten more confidence. But like, dude, in front of people, I'm like nervous as hell, man. Yeah. And so I totally get where that anxiety comes from. If you're a teacher, man, like you're very much so you're in a very critical. You're always getting criticized, and you're always getting criticized by the kids.
Every hour you have about 30 kids criticizing.
I mean, you're more or less criticized by children than anyone else.
Yeah,
because even the principal, like, if he criticizes you, it's once every quarter or whatever it is. But it's not like, he's got his own shit to do. He's got to polish apples in the office. So, I mean, like, he's not going to be always up your ass, or she shouldn't just assume it's a guy. But
2020.
2020, I still don't have 2020 vision. I'm kidding. But yeah, dude, I think, we just, like you said, ask for help. Like, that's never been my issue. No, that is kind of my issue. I have pride and I want to do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not one of those dudes, like, how there's that male stereotype that we never want to ask for directions?
Yeah.
I guess, well, no, I kind of do follow that. It's not because I don't want to ask people where to go. It's because I don't fucking believe that person knows where to go.
You don't trust them.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
And see, and
Texas
maybe,
Chainsaw, bro.
yeah, and maybe that is part of the male stereotype, but I don't care because, like you just said, what happened to them?
They
Did
did
one of them survive?
maybe one or two.
Tell you
Jessica
what,
Biel
the,
definitely survived.
the guy in the wheelchair didn't. Okay.
That's true.
So good luck on that. No.
But yeah, it's so true. You don't trust them. I was so apparently because I do a podcast about soccer, I turned to a freaking soccer guru apparently.
No,
So
you
my
are.
friend, thank you, sir. Um, my friend, my friend Josue, he texts me. He's like, "Hey, bro, who you got your money on?" And I'm like, "Nah, dude, I don't like this bet. Like, no, don't bet. Like, just enjoy the game. Don't put no money on this one's too. It can go. It like I don't want to. I don't want you to lose money, so I
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
take no bets." And apparently, he didn't like the answer I gave them. So then he asked another person who also happens to be Mexican, and he said the same thing. And then he took,
Wait,
and
but
then
isn't
he,
he Mexican?
yeah,
See, I'm
but
assuming because you said Josue.
yeah, no, he's also Mexican. And he started laughing. He's like, "Bro, how come I couldn't just trust your your expert advice?" And I'm like, "Cause we're Mexicans. You don't trust the first Mexican because he might try to pull a fast one that doesn't know shit. It
Yeah.
takes another Mexican to confirm what that Mexican said in order for you to be like, all right, then maybe, yeah, this sounds about right. But this is how we are as men. So maybe you said it correctly. Like, you would never ask any directions for another person because this person, I don't know if this fucking person knows where the fuck
Dude, but
I'm
I
at.
just, people stink, man. Like, I
Don't
will
trust
change
them.
myself. I will. But I will never change my mindset that people are scum and people are dumb. And
Yeah.
maybe, and I'm not saying you have to agree with what I just said,
Hmm.
but I mean, maybe because I'm still in retail, I just deal with the worst of the worst, dude. Like,
Yeah.
people that just want things and have no reservations for just how they're asking for them.
Yeah.
It's so bothering. Like, people that, it's gotten so bad. Like, I work for a cannabis delivery company, and it's gotten to the
Mhm.
point where I almost don't even want to order like a delivery service for food anymore either, because I just, sometimes I'm okay with it, but sometimes I feel like am I one of those fucking pieces of shit that just can't go out and do it himself, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, that's just coming from an angry place because I deal with such morons.
Hmm.
I get why deliveries exist. 90%
They're
of the time
convenient.
it's convenience.
Yeah.
Of course you're being lazy, but everyone's guilty of it. So
Yeah.
sometimes when I bitch about people, it's like, yeah, but who wouldn't want someone to deliver something for them if they didn't have to go get it? So
Yeah.
I get
The
it.
only
It's just the attitude that bugs me. You know, it's not the act, it's the attitude when they do things.
Yeah. No, I
It's
get
never
you.
fast enough. And,
No.
you know,
Or
and it's like, this isn't food, so it doesn't need to be hot.
yeah.
So just shut up.
Yeah. And if you want, you just go and get it yourself,
I mean,
bro.
if this isn't good enough for you,
Yeah.
go pick up some meth. Do that. See, this is why I can't be a guidance counselor.
Because obviously the next
You're
step
like,
will be do meth.
you're like in the room with the kid. You're like, all right, so you have you're like telling him, you're like, I think you might have imposter syndrome, and the kid's like, shut the fuck up, and then you're like, you know what, fine. Why don't
Yeah,
you just go
go.
do drugs, and why don't you just quit school? Because clearly everything I'm saying doesn't mean anything to you.
Yeah, obviously I don't know shit, but you little punk ass little
Yeah,
kid knows exactly what to do.
dude, I'd be like the I'd be like the Bob Knight of school if I went to school. Like, if I taught high school, like
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Knight was a college coach back in the day for, I forgot what team it was in basketball, but he was like known for losing his temper and throwing chairs and shit while the game was on and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yeah, you know, if some kid was like, I'm just like, so we're gonna do this, and then like some kid just yells out, "Shut up, bitch!" And like, dude, I'd be so,
Yeah. You know
I
what's
wouldn't,
funny?
I would be so angry. I don't think I'd
Yeah,
continue. I don't think I'd be able to continue the class with that kid
bro.
still in the class. I'd have to
That
kick him
happened
out.
to me a couple last week actually during our orientation. We had a Zoom bomber or
Oh, like
they
someone doing some fucked up,
assume
like some shit me and Ryan would have probably done back in the day.
yeah, a Zoom crasher or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
And all they do is like they go into the Zoom and it's just there to stir up shit. So we were talking, and some student is like reading directions, and as this happening, you just hear somebody in the background goes, "Shut the fuck up, bitch,"
It's
and
funny, but yeah, like when you're up there, you're like, all right, that's not funny.
no, same thing. I was pissed off. Like I came
Yeah.
off mute. I'm like, "Hey, whoever, blah blah blah. How dare
Uh,
you? How dare you be disrespectful?" And like, at least this person has the balls to to actually speak up. Not
yeah.
like other people are like, you're probably hiding. Who are you? Hiding behind cameras, blah blah
Yeah, you're
blah.
not even sure. Yeah, exactly. That's some
Yeah, and then
coward
he
shit.
goes, and then once I did my thing. Of course, I'm doing this to buy time to see who it is who's
Yeah,
talking.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, and once I finished like my glorious, bringing down the heat, he
Yeah.
goes, "I don't give a fuck," and then he left the Zoom call. and I
That's
mean, I was
pretty
pissed off at the moment, but now I can laugh about it. But at the
right.
moment, I'm like, "How dare you, punk ass kid?"
How
But
dare you?
but now I can laugh about it. But yeah, dude, like,
Well, I mean, I could laugh about the traffic I was in for 3 hours now too. I mean, yeah, dude.
yeah,
In that moment, dude, you're probably ready to. And I could
I
say
was
this because I'm not
pissed off.
you. You
Yeah,
probably wanted to kick some ass.
I was pissed off.
Yeah.
So disrespectful, but
And it's such a bully move, but it's such a funny bully move to the point where even though he's being an asshole, it's
yeah.
one of those bully moves that person will probably grow out of.
Yeah.
Because it's not super terrible, but it's like you were out of line. You fucked up big time.
Yeah, and I'm like I didn't feel bad that
I
he
think you
said
just
that
felt bad for the person that was talking.
Yeah, I felt bad for the girl who was talking, and this guy kind of disrespectfully said something. I was more angry that you said that to her
Right.
rather than, tell me shit. I can take it.
Right.
Care,
One time I got kicked out of a class in college.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, college.
Yeah.
I was at Evergreen. I had
Ooh.
Mr. McCandless. Do you remember him?
Nope.
I'm just throwing names out there. I don't give a shit.
That's old
So
school right there.
he looked like a really, really skinny, basically, oh, this is bad. So if he ever hears this, I'm like, you basically reminded me of McConaughey in Dallas Buyers Club. Anyway, he really skinny McConaughey looking dude.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this, I'm sorry. Anyway, there was one of this really math is not one of my strong points. So clearly I had a chip on my
Same.
shoulder going into this class.
Yeah.
And then to top it all off, I'm trying to understand algebra. I'm trying to go through it. It's such a pain in the ass. It's so uninteresting to me. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm struggling. And there's this kid in the class that's just the fucking worst. He's a brown noser. He's one of those nerdy types that you couldn't. So I hate people that hide behind things. And he was being an asshole and a douchebag, but he was hiding behind the nerd thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a weakness. You know what I mean? So he was like, oh, I'm just a meek guy that just wants to like talk to the teacher in front of everyone else about how much I understand the material.
Yeah.
So it's like people like me are getting frustrated because we're like, okay, great, you get it. Why don't you shut up and let everyone else figure it out?
Yeah, or like let him.
And like why the teacher wouldn't just like let him just, okay, no. I understand that you get it. Why don't we do this? Like, you know what we're doing, but why don't you just wait until I'm closer to the end before, you know what I mean? Just like let them finish and just let the kids who don't know ask questions.
Yeah, because that's the whole point of college.
Because that kid was asking questions to get patted on the back.
Yeah.
You know the people that are just like, they know the answer, but they want to ask the question so they look like they asked a good question? It's
yeah.
Like, ugh.
Like, dude, nobody likes
so
that.
I had enough, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I finally just said, dude, just shut up. Like, I literally said that so loud. I was like, dude, just shut up. And like, dude, the teacher, he was so mad. He's all, who said that? And I was like, I did. I'm like, I'm sick of it. And then like, and then he's all, get out. And I'm like, all right, fuck it. And then I left.
Yeah.
And I don't think I ever came back to that class. But I was so annoyed because I was like, I understood why I got kicked out. Because I did disrupt the class. And you really can't do that even in college. But like,
No.
I was just irritated, dude. I was like, you know the voice people make when they're like Poindexters, like,
Yeah.
like it was that guy, dude. It was just like, shut the like I wanted someone to bully this kid. Like I got bullied as a kid, and I'm like, where's your fucking bully, man? Like I just wanted someone to come up to him with some gum and stick it on his ear.
Dude, it happened to me
Shut
in San
up.
Jose State once. It was like a history class, and the this kid was sitting like front corner, whatever. Even had like a cool little. It was a history class. So this guy was like, I don't like to consider myself a history nerd, but this was like same type of person that you just
Right.
described.
You're like a history buff. He's just
Yeah,
like being super.
and the
Ugh.
professor's talking about something. Great professor. And then he tries to correct the professor. He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. Don't you mean this?" Like
Oh God.
trying to be all smart. And the professor just looks at him and goes, "No, I meant." And then like just but he answered him like such a great way, like how dare you try to correct me in class?
Dude, yeah, it's like, for what?
And
Like,
me and my buddy, me and my buddy Brett, we kind of just looked at each other and we started laughing. Like, yeah, why the hell would you try to correct the professor, a doctor
I
in
mean,
history? Come on, man.
yeah. I'm the weirdo that would try something like that if I felt strongly enough about it. Maybe
Yeah,
not history. History's kind of hard because it's already like been written a million
it's
times. So how are you
facts.
gonna
Like it's
fucking
facts.
prove? I mean,
Yeah.
maybe it's not, but
Mhm.
if it's been reported by so many people the same things, it's probably facts, right?
Yeah. No, I mean
But
you can.
but yeah,
You
I
can
mean, some
you
shit
can
you can't argue. You know, you're
you
just
can
like,
argue different perspectives and stuff,
right, and like
but like
political agendas maybe with some of the history we learned. But either way, like
yeah.
facts are facts, right?
But this guy, yeah, was trying to hit him with a fact, and I'm like, bro, why would you do that to a freaking professor who's been teaching like 20 years at San Jose State,
Yeah.
PhD? Come on,
Well,
bro.
because even
Like,
if you're right, why would he? Why would he even admit that you're right?
yeah,
That's like the movie Rockstar, but
Mhm.
like having the guy in the front row sing better than you, and then have him take your job without you giving it to him,
Yeah,
because that's not cool. Like that guy was like,
no,
"Here, oh, excuse me." That guy was like, you've seen the movie Rockstar.
yeah, of course. Stand
So
up
to
and
anyone who hasn't seen
shout.
it, Mark Wahlberg's in the front row screaming his ass off and singing, and the lead singer's like, "All right, I'm sick of this fucking band. Here, you sing."
Mhm.
And it's like the
Yeah,
dream come true. So anyway, like that's like the guy being like, "Oh shit!" Like the band here's the guy singing, and like, "All right, get off the stage and then put this guy up." It's like I
yeah,
get why people don't like being called out because it is threatening, and this is that is that man's livelihood we're talking about here.
yeah. It's this moneymaker.
He's got to feed his kids, all 16 of them, and keep the wife happy.
And it's funny just to kind of close up this episode. It goes back to a theme of the day of the imposter syndrome. If you really felt like you didn't belong, if you felt like you're really half-assing it, or that your pipes from there, and you're feeling like a fake, and then you have somebody up in front singing better than you, of course you're gonna be, because like in Rockstar, and you just kind of did it, and you kind of said you are. Once you feel like you're failing, I'd rather say I quit than getting fired. Because if I quit, it was like my own choice.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I quit
yeah.
because I wanted to.
I got that.
If you get fired, it's like,
A little more humility.
yeah, it's like, oh no, I tried my best and it wasn't good enough. So,
Yeah. And it's kind of looked more like a punishment for something you did wrong, right?
oh, and it messes up your head. For me, it will mess up your head. I'm like, dude, even at my hardest, I failed. And it goes back to the whole imposter syndrome that we've been talking about.
So there's a couple more. I'm just going to speed
Yeah.
through them because they are important.
Yeah, go ahead.
But like I said, I'm going to speed through them. We'll just barely touch on them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do numbers anymore. So if you're keeping track, we're definitely not getting through 10, but we're going to get to number 10. Develop a new script. Your script is that automatic mental tape that starts playing in situations that trigger your imposter feelings. When you start a new job or project, instead of thinking, for example, wait till they find out I have no idea what I'm doing, try thinking everyone who starts something new feels off base in the beginning. I may not know all the answers, but I'm smart enough to find them out. It kind of repeats what you were talking about the first day of school. I just kind of liked that it was like develop a new script, which basically is saying like, just because you know this has happened before this way doesn't mean that it's going to happen that way this time.
Yeah.
So keep an open mind.
And we all said it like, oh, wait until they find out I fucked this up. Like that's your mentality. You're really setting up yourself to mess up.
Yeah, exactly. And this one is kind of cool. I mean, you might do it already, but this is visualize success. It's like, and for you, I guess this will probably go for you, Danny, because whenever you feel like there's something coming up, right, that's bothering you or you're like anxious about, maybe something you could try doing would be to just visualize and daydream you just fucking killing it.
Yeah.
You know, and because I know you and you know me, everything that's going through our head is negative.
Yeah.
We're thinking
absolutely.
doomsday. We're thinking the absolute worst that can go in because we want to prepare ourselves and we want to be strong for it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But sometimes to be strong, you got to instill that courage and instill that fucking ferociousness. Like when a fighter comes into the ring, he's not listening to fucking sad, depressing. He's not listening to the Cure Disintegration album. He's probably
Yeah.
listening to fucking Hatebreed or something to get him all
Yeah.
pumped and ready to punch someone in the head. So
Yeah,
it's kind of like that. Like pro athletes, you know, they'll listen with their headphones when they're touring. I mean, see, I'm the opposite. I don't really know football. I know American football, so that's what I'm referencing. So like
Yeah.
right before they play, you know, they got their Bose headphones on and they're just in the zone, dude.
Yeah.
And you know they're not listening to like they're listening to like a book on tape. It's like, you might lose the game. Your wife might leave you.
Yeah, no.
Your kids hate you. They're calling the milkman dad. Like all these little things, you know, you don't need them. Like they're listening to all this cool shit. Like they're listening to Rick Ross and like Trippie Redd or something. There you go. There's my little young reference to make it seem like I'm not old.
But just really quickly, with that, what you just said, visualizing it, that for me is like borderline scary though. For me, it might be dangerous because if I visualize,
Don't visualize the bad shit.
No. If I visualize like this is how it's gonna work.
What are you
out,
gonna compare it to it?
And once I do it, it doesn't reach what I want it to. That's where it's really gonna screw me up.
I hear you on that. But we're already doing that.
That's true. Okay. That's
See,
true.
we're already doing that. That's the thing that I notice is like we're already like that's not good enough. So we need to just like start lying to ourselves.
That's your goal. Like, okay, even if tomorrow it doesn't go the way I envision it, the next day it will.
Right, like baby steps.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I can see that.
And see, when I'm saying this to you, I'm talking to myself as well.
And
I just don't want to sound like a psycho.
Yeah. No, and I'm hearing it like, okay, I can do that.
It's not like, Danny, you need to fix all this shit. You know, it's like clearly we need to fix all this shit.
Yeah, we.
I'm going to breeze through like this one and then just go to 10 and then we'll wrap it up. But number 9 is reward yourself. Break the cycle of continually seeking. Seeking what? Here, I'm going to show you what it says and then you can tell me. Reward yourself. What does that say?
Break the cycle.
Continually seeking Celsius. Okay, so what the hell is that? So anyway, break the cycle out. Continually seeking validation. I don't know why it says that. Okay, so sorry it's throwing me off. Break the cycle of continually seeking and then dismissing validation outside of yourself by learning to pat yourself on the back. So kind of like with what we're saying, it's take the victories of victory, pat yourself on the back for that. And I know it's going to seem dumb for us because it's going to seem like, oh, shut up. I don't want a participation trophy. But, you know, you don't have to brag to anyone about it. It just could be an internalized win. It can be just between you and yourself when you're taking a dump and it didn't take you 40 minutes. You know, just I think it's just an internal thing if it feels lame, right?
Absolutely. And like it can be as simple like, you know what? I had a rough week at work this week, but I was successful. I'm gonna get myself the double Western from Carl's Jr. So I'll reward myself.
Double Western cheeseburger, dude, and then you gotta get the fried zucchini.
Ooh.
Bam, breaking it out. Number 10. I hate this slogan so much, but when you describe what it really means, I like it.
Okay.
So, because I've heard it before and I can't stand it. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Almost makes you want to throw up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So now and then we all have to fly by the seat of our pants. Instead of considering winging it as proof of your ineptness, learn to do what many high achievers do and view it as a skill. The point of the worn-out phrase, fake it till you make it, still stands. Here's the nugget of gold. Don't wait until you feel confident to start putting yourself out there. Courage comes from taking risks. Change your behavior first and allow your confidence to build. And I feel like that's There's a reason she probably made that number 10. I feel like that is a good way to kind of wrap her list up, wrap our subject matter up, and it's, we need to, just, things aren't always going to roll off, the tongue the way they should, and, the reason we're doing this is because we need to change our outlook in order to appreciate all the beauty and colors in the world. So, and it's just a week-to-week thing with us, and it's gonna be a long thing. And since neither of us are really down and want to pay for therapy, this is definitely it. Like, and I hope at the end of this we can both shake hands and maybe do a tassel. Maybe we're gonna graduate from this as well.
It's funny. My sister, on the way back from Target, my sister asked me, "Is like, hey, Danny, do you feel like you're better now with your depression and your anxiety, or not better? I think she's like, do you feel like you're past it or like you're over it?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, it doesn't really, like, you don't get cured from those things. Honestly.
Yeah.
You just learn how to deal with it a little bit better and have them manage them rather than them managing you. And
Exactly.
It sounds cliche, but
but it makes sense, dude.
That's true. And I'm like, I think that's what we need. It's not like no one's ever gonna get cured from it. We just learn how to control it and how to deal with it and how to like live with it rather than having consumed you or anything like that.
I mean, 100%, dude. Like everything we talked about that bothered us was kind of relating to what we talked about today. It was things that we got through that didn't kill us. Mm-hmm. And if it didn't kill us, then we don't need to haunt it, right? We don't need to act like ghosts and be like, "Oh, I suck." Or traffic was 3 hours long. And see, that's the thing about me. Then what I have a reason to be bitched out all night? Because, dude, I need to be happy I made it home. And there's just outlook, the way we look at things. I constantly have to remind myself that. I mean, every day. So, I mean, I know it's the same for you, but we're definitely not experts. We're definitely not probably as confident as we seem. Mm-hmm. But that's the beauty of it, man, is, we can come on here and we can just be ourselves. And, hopefully, we can, help some people out. I know, I was thinking about it the other day and I was thinking about, man, I wish our numbers, and it's not even our numbers now. Like, I just sometimes when I would put out Stoop Kid podcasts, I'd be like, damn, I wish I had more listeners. But then I thought about it and I was like, well, okay, put yourself in another podcast perspective. One of my favorite podcasts is called The Church of What's Happening Now with Joey Coco Diaz. And he has 816 episodes. He just did his last one. And I don't think I've listened to 100 of them. Yeah. I've maybe listened to a large number, but like to say maybe I've listened to 100, but to say I've listened to a majority of 800 episodes, no way. So it's like, okay, but I love this guy and I still haven't even listened to all his podcasts. So then you got to think, okay, but with that mindset, I can't expect 6,000 people to listen to an episode of our show.
Yeah.
Because even if we have followers, they got lives and they might not be able to always follow us week to week. So they might catch on in a couple weeks. Maybe they'll listen to everything. Maybe they won't. And that's part of it too with the imposter syndrome is I want instant success. I want instant gratification. Mm-hmm. And I know it's stupid. I know it's wrong. I know it's unhealthy. And I know it's not really going to happen. But I feel like because we're Americans, because we grew up when we did, it's the American dream to just idolize that moment where everything clicks and all the pieces are together and all your problems are gone because you're rich. But it never really changes. I feel like you're just going to keep doing the same thing.
We were told if we worked hard enough and really want enough, we'll be able to succeed and do whatever.
Which is the most basic advice you could ever give somebody.
Yeah,
it's so vague.
Yeah,
just do your best. It's like, oh, that's great. What does that mean?
Cool. Thanks.
I'll do my best.
My best sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, because best is subjective.
Yeah.
So you don't want to do your best. You want to do great, because best is your best. Great is just great. Great is greatness, and that I feel like is somewhat subjective, but a lot less subjective than, your best, which could be literally, like you just said, Your best could be someone's worst.
Exactly.
Whereas great is great. It might differ a little bit. And you know what? I haven't smoked pot yet, so this could have been a lot deeper than it is right now. I could have been like, great is not great, man. But
Great
what
is
is great is this
opinion.
pot. No, but, you know, we're doing the right thing. I'm glad we're doing this. I like how we can get things going. And I always kind of get, and it's not anxiety, but I always kind of feel like I always feel like, oh man, we got to prep for this episode. But then 5 minutes of talking to you, we already have like 3 weeks worth of shit figured out, it feels like. And then we're good, you know? And like today, we got this awesome subject because of you. I reached out to you and you said, hey man, I got this thing that really responded with me a few weeks ago. And I said, well, what is it, dude? And then you showed me the article and I was reading it while I was on lunch at work.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so relieved in a way because I felt like this is really, like when I told you this is gold, I meant it. Like, not only is it something we both vibe with, but it's an important subject that I didn't think about. And that's why we're co-hosts, dude, because I think my way, you think yours, but together we think collectively, and that's what this project is. This is our minds together. And I'm happy. I'm looking forward to, you know, more. And it's enjoyable, dude. We're great friends, and you know, this is going to bring us together more, and if somehow we could find a way to make it work for us professionally, that would be fucking awesome. But both of us are cool with what it is right now, I think.
Yeah. It you know, if we can succeed on it, awesome. If not, this is still a pretty awesome way to kind of like just get stuff off our chest. And like, dude, like that article you sent me earlier, which we're probably going to talk in the next episode. Like that was a great. I'm like, this is stuff I never thought about.
Yeah.
You know, just like the way when you showed me that, I'm like, hey, well, it's funny. I'm like, you're like, this spoke to me. I'm like, funny because this spoke to me a couple days ago, and it's kind of like, oh man, I never thought of that perspective. Also,
but see that's what I like about you is you don't just go with what I say. You have your own shit too to bring to the table. That's good.
Well, that's the dynamic.
Yeah, but it makes me feel like we both feel the same way. We both are as passionate about this project as each other. And sometimes I think that's every co-host worry is like, you don't want to be the 80 to the 20.
Yeah.
And it's definitely 50-50.
It has to be
so,
50-50.
Yeah, but I appreciate it, and I love that it is. So,
hey, I appreciate you, bro.
To many more. Cheers.
I don't have anything.
Just do an air one. I'll do a fake one with you here. Wait, I'll put... Yeah, I'll do this. Wait. Cheers, Danny. Wait, this doesn't work.
Okay.
Whatever. See, it would have been better if I was stoned.
Stupid me. All right.
No, you're not stupid, Danny.
Oh, here we go. Cheers.
Oh, yeah. I got a drink after.
I did have water after all.
But that's the end of episode 5, guys. And I hope this helped you guys out this week. Give you some insight. You know, email us.
Yeah.
Email us. Reach out to us on Instagram. Reach out to us on the gram. Send us some DMs. Send us some dick pics. No, don't do that.
No.
But you know, that got weird. And this is a perfect time to just end it, I guess.
Sounds groovy to me. I will see you guys next week.
Yep. See you next week, buddy. Later.